Please note that the following views and the opinions expressed on this program are not necessarily the views nor the opinions of the Master Force Group, YouTube.com, Free America Radio Network, our sponsors, our partners, and MFG is a private society. Nothing here is ever to be construed as hate, medical, nor legal advice. And listen to the Forbidden History prime time 7 days a week right here on the RealPublicRadio.net, because hidden beneath the sands of time lies the greatest of all mysteries. It's the Forbidden History. Unearth for yourself the secret truths that lie hidden just beneath the surface below our feet. What is it that the powers that be do not want you or I to know? Come and journey with us as we explore and dare to know, because it's all right here, coming your way 7 days a week on the RealPublicRadio.net, Free America Radio Network. It's what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here. And somebody's got to do it. Stand by for the broadcast. Still time to call your friends, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
Okay, welcome to Ask Desert Owl on the Forbidden History series. I'm Ninja Cat, and I'd like to welcome everybody back to the program. It's good to be here, and also welcome to anyone new to the program as well. Any new listeners out there, you're very welcome. This is a live call-in program. We encourage people to call in and viewer participation. So please call in with your questions, comments, updates, anything. um, yeah, so the number to call in is 608 566 7295. That's 608 566 7295. Or you can Skype Ninja Cat, all one word, Ninja Cat, and to find it, just look for the white circle with the purple cat, purple Ninja Cat with a sword. And any first time caller, automatically you get a free gift of the Handbook of Christianity, a beautiful transliteration by Desert, one of his many books on Amazon. So the link is in the description. Just go check them out. He has 24 different books there, and they're all a beautiful read. Just before we get into it, fair notice for the listener: this program is a workshop for our friends and family. There will be no grandstanding or large postings, nor other promotions, or you may be blocked from this chat. Thank you for your cooperation. And I just want to say good day to Kev if I haven't done that already. Sorry. The aluminium is also here in Australia. Okay, in essence, Desert discusses the history of the world and how the unseen hand has been running it from the very beginning of recorded history. Who they are and how they have founded all of the first great civilizations that are found all around the world, about who the giants really were, and the ancient Aryan caste and slave systems, the priesthoods, the anti-gravity V-manners, the Earth-based misnomered UFOs, which are all man-made, the control of all forms of communications, commerce, religion, mass media, pseudo-politics, etc. It is the grand deception that is used to control all of mankind, and all instituted through the four main religions of the world in particular, and used as their grand cover. Their cyber code has been revealed to him because he has become adept within the study of the ancient alphabets, communications, symbolism, religion, custom, law, cosmology, and mythology, not to mention the fallacy of today's political science and pseudoscience in particular. He can also define the true nature of their warfare, their shell game of bringing one civilization up for their temporary use and then taking it down for the next 500-year generational cycle, as symbolized by the classical burning up of the phoenix. Desert discusses the ultimate in mind control, an ancient art, and the financial control, the secret societies and their blood occult rituals, and how they wage all wars throughout all time, through the nations that they have created, which are all imaginations, plantations, and mere corporations. They have taken blood oaths to surrender their self-will and mind to their blind goddess, who has demanded our blood from the very beginning of time. They communicate to their minions through the movies, TV, print media, and religion, while he can see, read, and interpret most all of it based on the ancient communication and symbol. It all says that they are using us for our ingenuity, for our collective constructive labour, for experimentation, and in the end they intend to kill us all. They've given us full notice of what they are doing and what they fully intend to do, while all of the general population, the sheeple, they merely go there to be entertained. The New World Order is the Old World Order from the very beginning of recorded history. There is a major cosmic natural disaster that is about to happen on Earth, and they know it because they have engineered all of it. while they are cleverly leaving us in the dark. Hence the reason that they have built hundreds of underground bases all around the world, while they are leaving all of the people to remain unprepared, uninformed, and above ground, so that when it all comes, the mere 5% who will survive above ground will die from the weaknesses and disease that has been generated from all of the poisons that they have been feeding us, from the chemical aerosol spraying of our sky, to fluoride in the water, to tainted vaccines, to fake food, etc., etc. They have enslaved us all at birth by the clever means of deception, because we most all are their cattle, chattel, property, and because they merely wanted to harness our labour, what they always needed, which is what backs most of the world's currency through the birth certificate, a Wall Street security. But they are all through with us now, as it is written in stone, as it can be seen written in the Georgia Guidestones. It says we are a virus upon the earth. To know the truth is to be empowered and to be prepared. We may not be able to stop what has been done and what is about to happen, but the innocent and decent people on planet Earth deserve to know. And now, here's Desert Owl.
And good evening, good morning, Morgan. Good afternoon, wherever you are around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the broadcast. And I am Desert Owl, a bird who sees in the night. And I'm looking for that proverbial blue pill again. I want to forget. I don't want to know now, because after you wake up to the reality and the truth, it's not pretty. It's a horrific world, a world of suffering and starvation. And there's so much resource and wealth in the world. None of that has to be, that all the projects seem to be to wage war on mankind. That's really what it's all about. Waging war on mankind instead of helping mankind, loving mankind, nurturing, even if we have to have population control and set some parameters for slowing down the population. Instead, they wanted everything to just, they wanted as many slaves as they could create, actually, like the Vatican, right? They said, oh, no, can't use contraceptives. That would be against Bhagwan Gandhi, the Papa, the evil, do harm monster. That's what Papa means, right? We talked about that. It's hilarious when you realize the insanity of these people, how they love being the epitome of darkness. They actually embrace it. They think it's fantastic, and give me more of that adrenochrome from murdering little babies, torturing them to death, and getting them at a height of adrenaline stimulation in their torture and murder, and then give me some of that longevity and that big high that comes with it. I can't. They sold themselves out somewhere. They sold their soul, and then it was a good puppy dog trip. They were just little puppy dogs back then doing their master. Yeah, master, what can I do for you? What can I do now? Oh, can you give me another token? Oh, yeah, please. Okay. And then little by little they get older and older, and they move up the puppy dog ladder, and all of a sudden they become the big dog. I'm a big dog now, and I say what goes. So let's get you little puppies out there running around doing your little dirty work and screw up our society and our world. Okay, they're very good. Okay, and we'll give you, for the more chaos and the more mayhem you create, then you will give you a little bone. We'll give you a donut. We'll here's another joint. Another. You know what I mean? It's just wow. This is our world. This is our world. And well, it's not my world, actually. It's not my world. That's the good news, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we talk about here on the broadcast. If you've been tuning in, that we tend in certain ways to go where no one else seems to go. They either think, the Bilderberger boogers are, trying to, take over the world. Some corporate people just figured out how they could take over the world. Or then when you finally get past that Alex Jones nonsense, that underworld CI, who CI, you know what I mean, and A is the last letter, then you find out that that's the great diversion, because then other people think, well, no, it's not Alex Jones and his nonsense, his he admits all of his family are intelligence, and he's a Jew basically. He's a Jewish front for Nasara out of Austin and Sanford, excuse me, Sanford, and they take all of his information and pass it on to the Mossad. All the supporters of the shill, Alex Jones. But then finally, if we get past them, then the people think, well, the Queen of England looks like the Queen of England. She's got all this real estate all over the world. She's got a castle, several castles, and and so she must be ruling the world, because she owns Australia and Canada and what have you. And but no, that if you look closely, she bows down to the Lord Mayor of London, Rothschilds, the Jewish Rothschilds, betrayed England and tricked them, and got them to think that Napoleon was going to win the battle at Waterloo when he lost, and they used their dove carrier pigeons to give the secret message that apes. By the way, Rothschild, the Napoleon lost the war. You going to tell the Queen? No, thank you. We're going to pretend we're selling off all our stocks, and the Queen will follow suit, and then we'll buy them all up at a penny on the dollar, and we'll get the Queen to bow down to us. So clearly, the Queen doesn't run the world. And then when they figure out that she bows down to the Jews, the Lord Mayor of the City of London, the 66 square yards or feet or however many cubits or whatever, they're all squares anyway. It don't matter, But then at the one point, then they read, okay, well, this Baron von Rothschild, where's he coming from? Was he the ruler or what? Then you read in the Catholic Encyclopedia and find out, well, actually, the Jewish is a front. The Jews are a front for the Vatican. In the Catholic Encyclopedia, it says that they are the protectors and defenders of the Vatican Trust. Okay, so they're managing, they are fiduciaries in the Vatican Trust, and that way the Vatican just can have a party. They can keep on cranking, and they don't have to worry about bookkeeping or anything. And rape as many little ones as they want to, and they orchestrate through the secret societies. Of course, all of them get a little bit of the action. It's all what goes around comes around, and but it's not going to stay around, ladies and gentlemen, and because they've destroyed our world, and it's going down in flames real quick. So good riddance, I say good riddance. It's sorry for our young people. I'm sorry for them, because they don't have a hope unless they've got good parents that want to direct them out of this world. But then usually finally the people that really got it figured it out. The Jewish Jesuits, by the way, excuse me, are the supreme military force in the world. They ignited the bombs at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They were not dropped by airplanes. They were detonated on the ground by the Jesuits. They were underground in the lower bases underground. Then came out with Band-Aids and got everybody to think that the Catholic priests were, the heroes of the day, when they didn't know the Catholic priests were the one that pulled the triggers on the nuclear bombs down there. Not military targets, but actually the two main Christian centers in Japan, the two main Christian centers that had more literature and Christian literature than any other religious center in the world, whether it was Nagasaki or Hiroshima, I don't remember, but they destroyed the largest archive of Christian literature and scripture in the world. And so they wanted to take out the legacy of Christianity in Japan. That was the Skull and Bones. Okay, and so and that was the Vatican. They're all working for the Vatican. So, but yet there's one more layer of the onion past the Vatican, and that is the ancient Aryan Brahmin / Hindu priesthood. Brahmin is the original is a code for the original word Savram. Staram is sovereign. Okay, and that's the ancient Aryan culture. And Kev actually had from the UK and Ireland had asked, who were the Watchers. He wanted me to elaborate a little more on that, although we've touched base on it and we've got it at the Cosmic Essence. I'll do a quick, primer on that again for anybody coming in new, because it's an important legacy, ladies and gentlemen, that we have. We have a history, but it takes a million lies to cover the first lie, and so but we can get through the lies. They don't care what the answers are, as long as you're asking the wrong questions. But once we can get back to ground zero, and that's where they detonated atomic bombs, right? That was what they called where the Twin Towers was on that day that it was taken down. They called it ground zero. Do you think maybe they knew it was going to be taken down by atomic thermonuclear hydrogen bombs, 15 megaton? Huh? I think so. Ground zero, the only definition for ground zero was a place where a nuclear detonation occurs. And they were all calling it ground zero. And oh yeah, and early in the morning, like at 7 a.m., Tom Brokaw comes on NBC, never been correct, and he says, "Oh, later this evening we're going to have a special for you, ladies and gentlemen, tonight. The program is going to be called 9/11, 911, when seconds count. So don't miss it, okay?" And that was the very Morgan that they took down the Twin Towers, right? They have a commercial for later that evening. They're going to have a special program, 911. Don't forget 911 today, 9/11 on 9/11. When seconds count, better get out while you can, you know. And it's so in our face, ladies and gentlemen. And most people, they don't have the ability, the time, or the resources, or the functionary capability of being able to pull all these pieces together. It's a thick wick. And Lynn, good to have you. Welcome. And so we're gonna cover some ground again tonight. I was really not feeling too well and thought I just want to take the night off, But I said I can't do that. I got these friends here, these wonderful people I know. They're eating it up. They really want to hear this, and I how can I take the night off? So I'm here. I want you to know I was feeling bad, but I'm feeling really. I don't know the right word, but grateful to be able to share with all of you the what's important to me, what's been my life struggle. And Rhett, good to have you on the broadcast. You need to call in sometime, Rhett. And this is a caller-generated program, and nobody called. Well, Kev called last night. Lynn called the other day, so we got a few of our friends calling in, and I'm sure there's something you could help me to discuss. And but anyway, so yeah, so it's a layer of onions, ladies and gentlemen, how the world is running. All those layers are operating. All those different layers are all working, in a disinformation campaign and and they're all having party perks, got the party going. Give me those party perks, whatever they are. And they're all just feeling good and so special, you know what I mean? Just really feeling special when they can get to kick mom and dad and a brother and sister and little boys and girls in the teeth. That really makes them feel special, especially when they can kick the little ones in the teeth. So they've destroyed our world, and they're going to get everything they got coming to them. And that's why I got that quote at the beginning of the program, ladies and gentlemen, because they cannot escape. They cannot escape what they have done. And though they've lived a life filled of one big lie, when it comes to their last breath, that'll be the moment of truth. For the first time in their life, they're going to know the truth. And the truth is that they're going to spend eternity somewhere other than back in the light. And I just imagine it because I know Dante's tragedy and, the hell and damnation burning forever is not it. So I imagine that they're just since they couldn't go back to the light, they just drift, their soul drifts out there in freezing space. And it teaches them a good lesson until maybe the grace of the Father allows their spirit to go back into another house to give it one more shot. But the Watchers, is the Vekoresh, correct terminology, it says that they're bound here in chains forever. They are bound here in chains. So they get to do a little more damage, and they go float out in outer space for a while. Then they come back again because they got nowhere else to go, and they create more damage. So it serves the divine cause, the Travain cause, excuse me, use that dirty word again, divine. We spelled it out on the other program. If you're just tuning in for the first time, you got to know that that the grace of the Father has been pouring out because the priesthood got us stuck in the Hebrew and Greek, but it's not Hebrew and Greek. Okay, that's where they want you, because it is about what is first, what is superior, what is original. And it is called the original thought, and it is the Indo-Germanic Aramaic mother tongue. Okay, that's the way the scholastic universities describe it, as the Indo-Germanic mother tongue. And so Aramaic is the correct terminology, but it includes all. We get the picture that Indo-Germanic means all of the Germanic tongues, all of the European tongues, all of the Eastern, as well. For the most part, tongues come in, that tree, and that includes Sanskrit, what I call pseudo Sanskrit, because it's not the original Sanskrit. The original Sanskrit are those capital letters, A, B, and C, that we see on the capital letters. There it is, A, B, C. Okay, that's your original Sanskrit, because only straight lines and this type of alphabet can be drawn up in sand, and that's why the mariners used it, because these symbols was the first way they communicated on the beachhead whenever they landed on some strange shore. These were universal symbols. Okay, these are universal, and so we're going to be talking about them when we get to cosmic essence. We're going to go through the alphabet. We're going to go through words and help people get a better picture. So before I get into the watchers for Kev, I just want to uh, ask Kev, because I did a review today of the broadcast, and then I saw something uh, in our discussion when he called in. So I'm going to type it here, OGHAM, and I think Kev said that was pronounced O. Wrong symbol there. Equals OM. Okay. So Kev, is that correct? Are you telling me Ogham, what we pronounce Ogham, is actually Om? Glad you're back. I was talking to you. I didn't realize you were gone. I'm asking. Oh, okay, okay, good, thank you. So Ogham is Om. Are you telling me that's how it's pronounced? I'm gonna go turn my heat down a little bit. I'll be right back, and you give me the answer in the chat. I'll be right back. 10 seconds. All right, 15, 20. Be right back. Oh, thank you. All right. Oh, okay. So Kev, did you get my? I guess you're just reviewing my answer right now. Standing by. Dun 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 dun. Wait, I'm waiting for an answer, Kev. Um, this is the thing that's rough. I should have probably had you call in at the beginning of the program so we could just knock it out. But I think did you miss my question? Is Ogham Ogham? Are you telling me that is pronounced Om? That's the question, okay? And I'm gonna say what the literal alphabet is in that, because remember I told you the M is also two N's, okay, as in Nancy. So it would also be Oghann, and then that actually means because one M equals two N's equals an M, because it's the divided power. The V is in the middle, the two columns on the right and the left, holding up the V creates the letter M for the mother, the virgin light. And so literally, that would be Ogan. Let me put the apostrophe there. So, Kev, where'd you go? Okay, how long does it take to get a message out to you? I know you're in UK, but I thought you would be hearing it. Ogan is the true garden, the true Garden. Okay, not Eden. That's no, just the true garden. Down here is the true garden, but then there's the Garden of Adams, Eden. So Kev, you got yes what? Yes to my you need to give it a little more elaboration. I'm assuming you're saying yes to the fact that Ogham equals Om, right? Okay. Okay, you're back again. You coming and going. What's going on? Okay, this is bad for radio. I should have had you call in on that one. So okay, good enough. I think you said yes to that. All right. And so who are the watchers? And this is really one of the one of the biggest lies. There's several big ones. Like who Adam is. And I got to say, I just want to get back on that Ogham again for a minute, because it's really like this: OGH. Okay, thank you. Yeah, there it is. There it is. See, so that's telling us something. But let's drop the A, because the A would probably be a consonant. OGHM. So what do we see in the middle? We see the GH, and the GH is silent. So the Om, is, you see, is MO backwards for mother, and so the mother creation brings us sound, and in the middle is the symbol for the return, which is the GH. That's why the two keys in the middle of your keyboard are GH, because they know this, and they put it right at the center. And that's why, for instance, in the Jewish adulteration of the book of Ganesha, of Genesis, in the version that they adulterated and gave to us, every 50 representing a Jubilee, every 50th word is a GH, you see? And what it means is return, RETURN. And so it implies, the return of their Luciferian, um, matriarchal occult. They want to keep everything for themselves. That's what a turn in attorney means. A turn means to turn everything back into the royal family, into the regal, to bring it back, to turn it back. That's how they play their game on us, right? These attorneys, they never even give you a contract when they when you hire them. They don't even give you a guarantee, and usually you lose anyway. You always lose, big money too. um, so anyway, it takes 1,000 lies or 1,000,000 lies to cover the first lie. And so the question is, who were the Watchers? And the Watchers were the offspring of Adam. Obviously, if they had sex with women, well, only flesh and blood can have sex. I mean, think about it logically for a moment, because the propaganda is what is prevalent within our world. The propaganda is that these Watchers, which is not the correct term because we've got to go back into original terms. So let me spell it here. Watcher, WATCHER, and then we got it would be correctly VAYKA. Well, I'll use the CHAR, Vicar, and we see that today in Vicar, VICAR, but it would be more like VAYKHARESH, Vekoresh. That'd be the primitive Indo-Germanic for watcher. Watcher are the Vekoresh. So it's the way. So Ve is way, and car is movement as you get in your car to go somewhere, and the esh is the essence. So it's the way. So it's the way of the movement of all things. They are the observers. They're the ones who know how everything operates. That was the legacy of the seed of Hadam. That was their legacy. Okay, that they observed everything because they knew how everything operated, because Adam was in the Garden of the Atoms. The whole time Yeshua was making, it said that Yeshua wanted to see what he would name everything. So he let Adam name everything, while Yeshua, the atom, the first atom, ATOM, made all things. You see, because he is all things, actually, as well, within the creation. And so Adam was privy to all of the knowledge. Adam knew how everything in the world operated and in the entire universe. That's why we can know that the galaxy goes around every, 26, 27, 28,000 years. Every 28,000, we go through the entire zodiac. Every 72 years is 1 degree through that 60-degree clock. Okay, that's quite a clock, and how could anybody possibly know that unless they had observed it over and over and over, right? So he was taken up as a spirit, even though he was made of flesh and matter. He was taken up to the throne of the Son. And so when he comes down as the last, that which was first made, he was the first made on earth, but then he comes down after all of the other creation, all the other um, human types came, and some of them came and gone, but those who were still here, the African, the Oriental, the small brown people, like we see in India, then also there are remnants of Cro-Magnon, or there were Paracus. There's a new species that was just found up in Siberia. Of late, I don't even remember the name, but there were all types of pedia. What do you call I want to say pedestrian, but the pet, the ped. Blah, blah. I don't want. I want to say human being, but I'll have to. Okay, human being of the earth. There were all kinds, and we have all the geological evidence. We have all the historical, record in bones and hair, and in caves, all of it. So there's no question about it. It's an open secret. But of course, the problem with religious people, because they bought into the lie of the priesthood, then they think, well, no, my priest wouldn't lie to me. So clearly, the world was made in 6 24-hour periods because God was in a hurry, and so He made everything real quick because He's not going anywhere. He's been here, and He always will be. Never, you know, uh, had a beginning. And so bipeds. Thank you very much, engineer. Very good. Bipeds. And so you see the truth is right in our face. The truth is right in our face. Just the fact that the earth itself, just looking at the earth, you can see that it's millions and millions and millions of years old, and you can even see where asteroids and hit the earth, like Hudson Bay up in Canada, or the Yucatan Peninsula, you know other places around the world, that you have all the evidence that this is millions of years old, not 7 24-hour periods or whatever, 6 24-hour periods. It's all part of the game they played. They had to lie about this, they had to lie about that, they had to lie, you see. And so I'm sick of them. I'm sick of the lies. I love the truth. And even though I was hearing one thing while I was growing up and came into adulthood, and I'm hearing one thing, but wait a minute, I'm looking and I see something else going on here. you know how come the priesthood is saying this, but yet I see this? And so that then you find out, okay, yeah, you are being lied to. Oh, and then all of a sudden it makes sense. Everything fits when you know the truth, that the great spirit of life was not be in a hurry. How could somebody that is always was and always will be in a hurry? you know it doesn't make sense. Why would he say, okay, I got to make the universe now, give me 6 days? Can somebody? Well, you couldn't even have a day without the sun and the earth and the moon all going around together like a clock. But what it really means is it was 6 great periods. Period is period. A peri, it means great, and yud means age. So there were 6 great ages. You see, and Fenton got it. Farrar Fenton, the most important translation in modern time, next to our Indo-Germanic. Okay, Fenton got it, and that was in the 1800s. And he didn't listen to nobody. That was his problem. You see, he said, I'm not going to read. I'm not going to read English translations. I don't want to be influenced by propaganda, by religion, by politics, by mistranslation. I don't want to have any of that affecting me. I'm going to read the most primitive documents. I'm going to read them for myself. And he did it for 40 years. He only read Hebrew and Greek, and no doubt he touched on the Aramaic. And then he did his translation. You see, totally by the great breath of the wind and fire, by the Spirit, and by the pure heart that he had in order to get accurate translation. So it's amazing, how things slip out, ladies and gentlemen. But thank you, Father, for that. So the Watchers, the Vakaresh, the vicars we see in the Vatican today that wear the red moon cap like the Jews. Interesting. And professional child molesters at the same time. They we see them today as the vicars. There's the word, that it was come down as watcher. but we have to use correct terminology. We've got to get back to the truth because there's meaning in the original words, vekaresh, right? The way, the essence in the way of creation. That's another way of saying it. The essence in the way of creation, or the way of the movement of creation. All of those things are there. So they inherited the knowledge of their father Adam, who witnessed all creation evolve on Earth and in the cycles of the universe. He was cranking, he was cranking. He This is why the Watchers fell, you see, because they had this great head knowledge, and they saw, look how stupid those other people are. Aren't they stupid? And our brother Cain, Cain, he killed his brother Abel, and there he went down with the stain of blood, stained in blood with bright red hair, and the curse of Cain, and bright red hair and spots all over his body. Uh, that's where leprechaun comes from, the leprosy of spot, being spotted, not a true leprosy, but the spotted as reflecting what leprosy means, leopard, spotted leopard, right? And so so they decided that they could clean up. They could enslave all of mankind that was on Earth. They could get the redhead spotted uh, children of Cain, ultimately known as the Celtic, ultimately known as Canaanites, ultimately known as Phoenicians. They were the warfaring class, stained in blood. So they made a perfect warfaring class. They gave us the meaning of going berserk, the berserker battle axe. The battle axe that could craft a ship, could also take on 2 or 3 swords easy. One guy with a battle axe was ready to take on 10 men. 10 men. He'd take off all of his clothes. They'd see this guy with red hair, spots all over his naked body, swinging around his battle axe, and all those guys go running the other way. They didn't want nothing to do with this guy. He's gone berserk. They knew that he would cut him up, because you can't even get close to him with the battle axe. So they were the warfaring class, and they used their secret enclave as being what we call the islands of Ireland today, Scotland, and England. All of those were their secret hideaways, and that's where they started mining for the tin and taking it back to the Levant, and help using it to make swords and other implements. So these Vekaresh, these Watchers, they then became the priesthood. They became the first priesthood that they said, we see it in the Aquarian Gospel. They said, well, we're so important that we need not work, and so you, children of Cain, uh, will be the warfaring class, the puppet kings. That's your leprechaun with the pot of gold. Our puppet kings, and in Mesar, Egypt, and in India, in wherever, in Babylon, even in the movie Jeremiah, when you see Nebuchadnezzar come out the front gate to meet Zedekiah, well, guess what? Who would have thought that King Nebuchadnezzar coming out the front gate in Babylon would be a redhead spotted Irishman with a big bright red beard? You see, showing that the people making the movies know what's going on, because I knew that before I saw the movie. And then when I see the movie, it's like, how did they know that? Of course they knew that. Of course they know, they got all the ancient records. They're privy to everything else we're not, you know? And so, but it's all an open secret. It's out there somewhere. You can find it, but you got to follow the trail of the symbolism. You got to be able to interpret the scriptures properly, and to use sound logic and reason at the same time, because people are so stupid today. They come up with the most horrendous things that they follow, and it's not based on the scripture, nor is it based on evidence anywhere. And so it's difficult. It is. I've had a unique experience in my life with the journey that I've been on, and that's a story for another day. How that all came about. But so the Watchers. So this is how it all began, because they had this knowledge, was the knowledge that allowed them to to create the anti-gravity Vimanas, what we call UFOs today, but way back then they had the Mercury vortex anti-gravity engines, that they're on the top of the temples today in India. You see a donut, it looks like a donut. Well, that's it. That's one version of them. And the Vimanika Shastra tells about how they flew them in bad weather, what they ate, and how they, got around the world in minutes, that type of thing. It's all an open secret. How they, the Mahabharata talks about how they um, shuttled giants all around the world in their anti-gravity Vimanas, and then they got them in all the different key locations where they built the giant megalithic structures, like in Peru, the giant polygonal walls that look like giant jigsaw puzzles that perfectly fit together, you know. So the giants were participating in all of the construction. Naturally, you need giants, but they also had secret technology that we can't begin to figure out some of it. But frequency, also the Tibetans also others have witnessed them using frequency to turn stones into weightless rocks. All of that stuff. So they knew the frequencies. They knew the supernatural elements within nature that they could take advantage of and mystify people. People, imagine what they would think when they can't pick up a small rock and then they see big rocks levitating. That put the fear of something in you, and you'd want to bow down and worship those people if you're primitive and you don't know nothing. They tell you if you bow down, we're going to kill you. So yeah, the people bow down. You know, um, so our history is much different than anything we could imagine. But the story of the Watchers has been clouded over by the disinformation campaign, because they want you to think that the Watchers are invisible creatures with wings on their back and they fly around. And then this invisible creature had sex with physical creation. Nonsense. The logic is against that. But the thing is, the evidence is correct, because out of Ethiopia came the first and second books of Adam and Eve, and in the second book at the end, we find out that it was the Aryan race that who were the cousins and brothers of Enoch, and that they then went down. It tells the story how they went down partying with the beautiful naked women, and how they had tattoos all over their bodies and jewelry, and they had horse races and partying up, drinking, and making music. And then the Watchers, they come down and they're totally captivated by it. They said, these stupid people, we could enslave them, we could take all their women, and that's exactly what they did. And the men, the stupid men, then just went along for the ride and said, okay, tell us what to do. We don't want to fight you, just tell us what to do. Because these Aryans, they were called classically they were called the sky gods or the sun gods. They told them they came from a star far away, Sirius. But let's get serious. They were here on planet Earth. It didn't come from another star other than the sun. We all came from the light of the sun, and we everything came from the light, has to go back to the light. So that's how that played out. So we have the written account. We have the written account, and I'm always amazed at how come nobody reads it. How come it's like I'm the only one, who feels like he's reading it and getting it and sharing it, and nobody else ever saw the book when it's out there on the shelf, known as the Lost Books of the Bible and the Forgotten Books of Eden. My first copy was $8 back 45 years ago, and it was the first lost collection of lost writings I found that led me to all the others. It was a gold mine. I could see some of the other writings in there that were no good, that were of Catholic influence, or made up by the Vatican, like the story of Paul and Thecla. Paul and Thecla is not a legitimate lost writing, or the Catholic Catechism, that wasn't. So there's a few that I saw, and oh, no. But there's the Lost Gospel of Peter, found in a monk's grave in Meitzar, falsely called Egypt. So all of these treasures, that are scattered all over the world, I've been collecting them. And so you can ultimately, if you do the legwork, you can actually know something. And when you compare all of it, it helps to create the bigger picture of and the problem of what's gone on. But people think that whatever they've received from their priesthood, from the Freemasons, the King James version, where they added the word Lucifer and added the number 666 in Revelations. when it was a number 6 and not a 666, because 666 is a number of a star, you know. So they're saying that the sun is the beast. That's what it means. The sun is the beast. And the game is a big one, ladies and gentlemen, because it's about life and death. Life and death. So we now can see a picture of the Watchers in the story of Yaakov, Jacob, who I think I talked about last night a little bit. But in that story, I just touched on it because I mentioned his 10 sons and how his 10 sons turned on Volei Shaphay, the one who was going to save the family, the one who was closest to Yahweh, Volei Shaphay, Joseph. And so the 10 sons then take on the character type of the fallen Watchers, the Vekaresh, because they turn on their own family. They turn on their father Yaakov, which means seed of light. That's another name of the sky gods, seed of light, sun gods, and God is not the right term. It'd be like Elohim, but the correct terminology would be Zulavhaim. The Zulavhaim, the ones who had the vision for everything, the royal power and vision for everything. That's the Zul. Okay, the Zulavhaim. They had the love, but they lost their love, because they sold out. And so when we see the story about the 10 brothers of Jacob, and how they turned against Volei Shaphay because he was going to receive the inheritance. The father was teaching him all the secrets, and they hated him. They despised him because he was the firstborn of the chosen woman, which was Rachel, and but she was barren, and she didn't bring forth until the end, basically in that story, and so that represents the Virgin. She represents Mary in that archetype, and so because they hated Joseph, Volei Shaphay, they then wanted to kill him, but instead they sold him into slavery. Well, that's what the first Watchers did. So this is a retelling of the story in a microcosm in the family lineage, and this is when Israel, because remember, he was Jacob, but then just before coming into the promised land, coming back with his tribe, with his 2 wives and all of his sons, he gets a new name. He gets the name of Esherei Ulva, which they abbreviated as Israel. And so this is when Israel falls. So we see that from the seed of light, they fall into the title of Esherei Ulva, the owl and the serpent, those who could have eyes to see, but yet were in the serpent, the royal eyes from the light, Esherei Ulva, with eyes to see the serpent, but they have to open their eyes real wide to see it. And so the 10 sons represent the fallen Watchers, because it's a microcosm of that macrocosm that happened in the beginning, which today would be about 8,000 years ago. 8,000 years ago, give or take. There are certain illusions of time, but it so could have been, a little longer. But roughly 8,000 is and I've been doing this all a long time, and that's one I stick with, 8,000. So anyway, that's basically the story, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Kev says that in Ireland, the myths say we were seeded by the beings from the cloud, Thaltha, Dedan, Dedanan, they were called. Okay. Yeah, I have a book of lost scriptures from Ireland right here on my shelf. In fact, it's called the Irish Biblical Apocrypha, and in the Irish Biblical Apocrypha, it's got let's see what we got here: the creation of Adam, creation and fall, the penance of Adam, the death of Adam, Adam and his descendants, the 2 sorrows of the kingdom of heaven, story of David, the power of woman, the death of the chief prophets, infancy gospel, the wonders of the night of the nativity, additional related text, the Magi, Anecdote concerning the Magi, Infancy Gospel of Thomas, Akbar legend, Letters of Jesus on Sunday observance, the mystical tree, the death of John the Baptist. Oh, and it goes on. And I've only read, I haven't read all the way through this. I've read what was of interest to me, um, and not all the books. Some of the books they just really create more questions than they give answers, and maybe something was lost in the translation. But like I said, all of the translations um, have been corrupted, and then they destroyed the originals. That's because they don't want us to know the way back home. It's a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. These are the craft. People who craft the ship are very crafty, and they have a craft today, and it's called Freemasonry, and they're the gatekeepers. They're the ones working under the Vatican, under Kabbalistic Jewish Kabbalism, and the Jesuits, and they're here to keep us down. They're here to gang stalk us and to destroy our world, and they're doing it. They're doing it. So I guess they should be proud of themselves. But I hope that filled in some gaps for you, Kev. I know we've touched on it, and we've got on the Cosmic Essence, the Watchers. Anybody can go there, and also the Story of Adam. So I encourage people to go to the Cosmic Essence and check that out. So I've got more miles to go here. I've got another read out of our book, Facts Are Facts, and I'm going to touch on something that I just saw tonight on the original Gospels out of the book by Mark Dumday. Okay, so and I got words, I got stuff, ladies and gentlemen. We're never going to run short, but I know our time will, and so I'm going to try to get out the most important information that I can pull together to share with you all. I'm very grateful and honored to hang out with a very select group of people that actually, to use a cliche, give a damn. Give a damn about their eternal. That's a funny saying, isn't it? Give a damn about their eternal walk and serving. And so it's by serving the people of the world that don't deserve it. They don't deserve anything with the way they've lived. They sure don't care. But we have to find a way to reach people, to touch their cosmic conscience, and hope that they can wake up. Because if we can wake somebody up, we've created a miracle, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we can't make anybody see, but we can have to help them to hope that they can see and read it for themselves. So I'm Desert Owl, and we're going to go to a break now. So time to call a friend, or just go use the restroom or get a drink, and we'll be back in about 5 or 7 minutes. Okay, thank you for your time, and we'll be right back. You did tell a friend? All right, thank you.
Okay, welcome back. You're listening to Ask Desert Owl on the Forbidden History series. And if you're still getting the little circle where you are, just hang in there. It's come good on my end just now, so everything is good. I will ask for an audio check in the chat, though, just in case. Okay, I'd like to remind you guys that this is a live call-in program. We welcome questions, comments, updates. If you're trying to figure something out, just call in. Desert loves answering questions and having a chat. The call-in number is 608 566 7295. That's 608 566 7295. Or you can Skype Ninja Cat, all one word. Just look for the white circle with the purple Ninja Cat in it with a sword. Any first time caller will get a free gift, the Handbook of Christianity, just one of 24 books that Desert has available. All books are on Amazon, and the links are in the description. We're working on making them available on more websites as well, and all proceeds go towards this ministry, like helping us stay afloat, like office supplies, and to be able to do these programs. So
Books for prisoners.
yes. And also, the channels on the screen, the links are in the description. Please subscribe. We're alternating between the Cosmic Essence and Ask Desert Owl with Ninja Cat with our live programs, and Desert's archived channels are also recommended listening. They're amazing. So please subscribe and check the bell. And back to you, Desert.
Okay, I comprehend you have a Quest Ion. A Quest Ion?
Wow. That's an interesting way to say that, Aisha.
Well, I thought it was interesting that the word had a Q at the beginning of it, that particular word, right?
And ion at the end, yeah.
Yeah. A quest. So where do you want to go on your quest?
I would like to go towards the light, Desert. And my question, when I first... Oh, hang on. Sorry, I'm multitasking here. I'm just going to change the graphic. When I first connected with Yeshua, I didn't know anything about, like, I was not brought up in a family that was religious, went to church, knew any form of scripture or history, anything like that. I found myself attracted to researching anything and everything, and going back into the past and looking at ancient history as well. But I now know that everything that I found, I was either not seeing it properly, or I was seeing the false history. I know that now. Desert, you have taught me so much. But anyway, when I first
that was Yeshua. I'm just his instrument, so it's all Yeshua.
Okay.
Just want to clarify.
Okay.
All credit to him.
Okay. So when I first time in my life, a couple of years ago, had that amazing connection with Yeshua, I didn't... Sorry, I'm getting emotional because it was just so amazing. I didn't know how to, I didn't know how to create light. I didn't know how to pray. I didn't know anything about how I should behave and continue connecting with him. So I just followed my instinct, and I guess let him uh, lead me. And I would just sit quietly and just wait for him to come into my head, or wait for that feeling to come. It was hard to describe, but most of my connection was silent, and because I didn't know any other way, and it was very powerful. And then when I started to learn how to connect with him in other ways, it only, like, the connection only grew. And um, until last year when I left the country and I let him carry me. Now I feel like I've gone backwards a little bit, because I've stopped from a chaotic year last year. I've stopped, and I really started to feel old, and fall into the negative, and not look after myself and all of that. And I felt the connection breaking, and I've gone back to how I used to be, not being very good at expressing anything outwardly, uh, and that makes it difficult to um, create light, like vocally, to properly to sit there and pray. So I'm doing what I can, and going back to the silent way. And I wanted to know if that's okay. Like, is everybody's connection different? Is it okay to do it in different ways?
Well, I think we should do it in both ways. In other words, sometimes I create light inside, like when we talk to ourselves on the inside. So I talk to the Father that way, and then at other times, on my knees in front of my couch with words coming out of my mouth, because when we receive the great breath of the wind and fire, we will probably be speaking, because then our speech will change, and that's how we'll know. So I don't think you should leave anything off and do with one, but you should apply all of them at different times, so that it's just developing a relationship. It's like you talk to me, so you have to talk to me by voice in order for me to hear you.
Yeah,
It's not like that with Yeshua, but still, if we can talk, well, then how much greater is he, since he gave us a mouth,
yeah.
and he gave us our ears,
Like
so
I give thanks. I give thanks vocally. And if I'm creating light for somebody else, that's vocal. But for myself, I can't seem to find the words, and so that's where the silence is. Yeah,
right, okay.
I just wanted
Well,
to
you
know if
you
that's
give thanks.
okay.
You can give thanks vocally. Just even make up a song. Make up a song that you sing. Or there's a simple one like, Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. Anything to just create an uplifting spirit. Can be good. So, and also even just meditating before creating light. By meditating, that's meta. Meta is in the middle. Meta is in the middle. So you're becoming centered. You're bringing everything together in the middle, so that you can process. And so you process things. It's not like, when they say clear your mind and you don't have any thoughts. You can have thoughts. You can have thoughts going in front of you, and you process them, and you're working things out by focusing, and you realize certain things while you're doing that you didn't realize before. And then at the same time, then you can give thanks, and you can um, make a connection in creating light with the Father. So we're all different, and so we do have different challenges. And but the important thing is to realize how they did it in the script, in the Schultres, so script misnomered as scriptures. So just keep, the important part is that you're active in communicating with them, and you do it multiple times throughout the day. And then when you need it,
Yeah.
he says to be instant in creating light. So don't neglect him when you're confronted with the challenge. He's the first one you should go to. You know.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Was that it?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Sorry, I need to
Good.
mute out. Like this has been an issue for a little while, and I had to bring it up. Um,
All right.
yeah.
Well, we're all struggling, Ninja, every one of us. I don't know any of us that aren't. So, okay, so I'm going to go do the read now because I want to get
Okay.
that done first before I do anything else. I want to get that read done. Last chapter, chapter 37, in the final hours of Yeshua. Okay, so thank you for your questions and participating, and for your production as well. You're doing great work. All right, let
Thank you.
me pull up the book. Okay, and which one is it? Here we go. Okay, so we're in the final chapter 37 of the book, which is on Amazon. The Final Hours of the Messiah's Untold Story. The Final Hours, ladies and gentlemen. This is in the source gospel, the original gospel, okay, that was used to support the other gospels, all of them, even the other lost ones. And when they took the material out of here, some of them then added other experiences or firsthand knowledge that they had. So it was all different people. There was a lot of people that were involved, mainly the 12, but then remember there was initially 72 followers. And so a lot of them shared their stories on the side that were not necessarily in the original, but the original is 182 chapters, so it is clearly the big one. And and there's so much evidence. If you've not read it, it's misnomered as the Aquarian. And so you just have to, yeah, you can't comment on something until you've read something. And I've read it 40 times now in 20 years. I've on average have read it twice a year, so I become foremost expert in the book. And so I realized then I was the one I ultimately became the only one on the planet that I know about that's actually identified it as what it really is, the Q source. The Q source, and it is the original gospel, ladies and gentlemen, and it is an inspiring work. It does not contradict anything within our received scriptures, but our received scriptures, you will then see how watered down they are. After reading this a few times, I couldn't read Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John because they were so corrupted, that I preferred the original. I didn't claim it at yet as the original. I didn't have that light bulb go on. It was like, okay, I knew this was significant, but then finally, really came to me. This is the original gospel. I had to read it for 2 decades to be able to really clearly state it with confidence in knowing, but it's based on the fact that I do collect lost writings. I've been doing it all my life. So I've got 40, approximately 45 years of collecting lost writings and give or take. Okay. So anyway, here we go. Chapter 37. And we where did we leave off? Well, he rose from the dead. And so he's visiting the brothers and sisters now. And so now when the day of Pentecost had come, Yerushalayim Shalom was filled with devout Judean and proselytes from many lands. The anointed all were all together in perfect harmony. And as they sat in silent light creation, they heard a sound like the distant rumbling of a coming storm. The sound grew louder and still louder until the thunder blasts, they filled the room where the Malachayim is apostles, were seated. A brilliant light appeared, and many thought the building was on fire. The 12 spheres. Let me just do something real quick. Hang on. Got to take my hat off. Keep my head warm. We got record temperatures out here today, coming up tonight. The 12 spheres that seemed like balls of fire fell from the sky. A ball for every sign of the entire zodiac. of the cosmos, and it was on the head of each Malach Alem that there appeared a flaming ball of Freya or Freyr or fire. Fire. Freya is fire. So there's these words, they go back into original form and they have multiple meaning. And that's why it's so fantastic to go back, and to see the common thread for these different Aeshavors. And each Sphere sent 7 tongues of fire toward the sky, and each Malach Alem spoke, or Malach without the plural, each Malach apostle spoke in the 7 dialects from the center of the earth's known regions. The ignorant crowd treated lightly what they heard and saw. They breathed, "These Aeshan are drunk and do not know what they are breathing." But Aeshan of learning were astonished. They breathed, "Are not these Aeshan who speak all Yuthean? How is it then that they speak all in the tongues of the known earth?" And Kefe breathed, "You faithful people of Yarule Shalom, Jerusalem, and you who live beyond the city's gates, Shalom, peace be for you and for all Aeshan kind. This is the time that the pure Aeshan from ancient time desired to see. By the victory of light, they saw this hour, and they now stand with us in ecstasy." The star navigator Yuel, in the olden times, told of the things that you now see and hear. The pure breath speaks with his tone key, tone, and tongue and breeze. And it comes to pass in the end of time that I do breathe upon the seed of the moon. And that's the original for son of man. That was a corruption. It's the seed of the moon. And fill them with the enlightenment and with purity. I gotta do something. Hang on.
Okay, and here's Ninja not whistling or singing to fill in the gap. Desert will be back shortly.
Thank you. Okay. And it came to pass at the end of time that I do breathe at the seed of the moon and fill them with the enlightenment, with purity. Your sons and daughters will stand out and speak truth. That's the distinction of the true way. They speak truth. While your younger Aeshan will be visionaries and your older Aeshan will define the dreams and visions. And I will present the movement of the one in the sun above with marvelous signs upon the earth. The sounds will proceed from the sky that Aeshan will fail to comprehend. The sun will fail to shine, and the moon will be stained in blood at the time of the coming of the great age of the healer and sunrise. That's the golden age of light. That's what Yeshua ushered in. The old world was done away with. And it does come to pass that they who call upon the royal title of the Yahweh in the victory of light, they will be redeemed. This is the golden age of the anointed power. The age that he, the Aeshan from Galilee, is risen up in the sun. He came as a Vave, a baby, in Bethlehem. And from his Diel day of birth, the Cains, the kings of the earth, the Cains of the earth, went forward with the intent to take his life. Yahweh held up and protected him in the palm of his hand. Aeshan called him Yeshua, as they named him well, for he was sent to seek and save the lost. And Yeshua grew to full Aeshan estate and was subject unto all the trials and temptations of the seed of the moon that we all go through, so that he could experience and know the burdens and all that all Aeshan must carry, and know the way to bring them through. In the far away lands for a time he lived, and by the sacred Aeshavor he healed the sick, threw the prison doors open, and set the prisoners free. And everywhere he was proclaimed Emmanuel, the great one, foretold to come. But the wicked Aeshan despised him, the one of the many, and they rejected him. And by bribing Aeshan, they convicted him as guilty of a score of crimes. And in the presence of a number of Ashan who hear me now, they nailed him to a curse, to a cross, and sealed him with the seal of death. But death was all too weak to hold him in the tomb. And when the immortal mother star breathes Moeshayanke Kome, which means the great sunrise, the golden age of light, the royal eye of the Moeshayanke, Messiah, comes. He broke the bands of death and rose to life again. He showed himself alive not only to the rulers in Yerushalayim Shalom, but to the many who were in the distant, faraway parts of the earth. And then before the wondering eyes of many who now hear me speak, attended by the retinue of courtiers of the Malek royal messenger's circle, he ascended to the sun throne of the Yahweh. And now, being exalted on high, that's the eye of the return, that's exalted in the sun. In the eye of the return, and having a breath to the full breath, the true nature of the pure anointed breath, he breathes again on us. And in this way passes on generationally what you now see and hear. And Eshan of Esher Reuva, Israel, know that the Yahweh has made this Eshan from Galilee, whom you tortured and crucified, both our healer and our sunrise, and the Moeshiyanke, Messiah. And then the people breathed, what must we do? And Kephe breathed, this anointed healer and sunrise has sent us out to open up the golden gates of this new age, the dawn of and the purity of the truth. Through the Moeshiyanke, the Messiah, all Eshan may enter into the true light and live in a day without end. The anointed perfect circle of the called out, the people of the way, the church stands on the postulates that Yeshua is the true love of the Yahweh, revealed that the true love is the Savior for the seed of the moon, the seed of the serpent. This anointed perfect circle of the called out, the people of the way, is but the royal house of the Son of the pure one within the soul, revealed. In this age, the anointed perfect circle of the called out, the people of the way, is all opened up, and whosoever will may enter in, and by the boundless favor for all of the Moeshiyanke, Messiah, be saved. A Shavat, the royal eye of the Sharfan, the serpent. Again, that means at the center of creation, okay? It's to be interpreted metaphorically. Again, the people breathe. How may we enter in so that we may share in the endless favor for all of the Messiah? And Kephe breathe. Rebreathe with the breath of a star. That's repent. And be avavatezered. That's baptized. And turn away from all dark blind action. That's sin. And lead the life deeply hidden within the Moeshiyanke and in the Yahweh, and you may enter in and be redeemed. 3,000 people turned away from their dark blind actions and were all avavatezarath, baptized, and sought to lead the life deeply hidden within the Moeshiyanke in the Yahweh. And in a single dayel, in a single day, the anointed perfect circle of the called out, the people of the way, the church, became a mighty force of power, and the anointed Moeshiyanke, Messiah, he, the I, has become the greatest story that thrilled the greatest numbers ever, as well as in every other foreign land. And you just got the final hours of the Messiah's untold story, ladies and gentlemen, right here on the Forbidden History series. So, yeah, it took us 22 go rounds, and but we got it out, and it's exciting to be able to share what has escaped our presence, you know, in these very precious and valuable lost writings. So, okay, well, you know, I'm really kind of all tapped out here this evening. I see we've got a small audience that is with us, and I may want to save it the rest of it for when I'm fresh on the coming up Cosmic Essence on Saturday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, East Coast Time here in the U.S. And I found a really good movie I wanted to watch, which is John Huss. John Huss, the first big reformer who, well, in his day in Germany, you know, he was just a purist. He didn't know he was going against the beast, and they were gonna uh, burn him at the stake. You know, it's so tragic. I'm trying to find it in my picks right here, and I don't see where it came in now. What a drag. I should have kept it up on my browser. But if you do a search, Ninja, if I send it to you, you can put it in the description, right?
Yes.
All right. So I'll try to make that a follow up. I can turn on because I got it queued in on the TV from the computer, and then I will.
I'll put it
I'll
in
tell
the.
you what. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, hold on. I can open up my history. I think I can open up my history, and it should be in there. Let's see.
Okay. Well, I can put the link in the comments. That's easier for people to
All right. Yeah, we'll
see.
do that because I don't see it in the first lineup anyway. But it's a tragic story. It's a true story, and it's one of the tragic legacies of how good people were coming out of, you know, that church. They didn't know, you know, it was the beast. They didn't know have enough information, and so just by speaking purity, truth, honesty, decency, all those things, then the priesthood told them, you know, you got to stop talking about that stuff. Got to watch it. You don't have to wash your mouth out with dirt, and because they were gaining a following, and they were then ultimately he was going against the pathetic doctrine of the beast, the Vatican um, Kirky, the Kirky. That's an occult circle. So Captain, you remember Captain Kirk? Yeah, he's on the round deck, right? Okay. So it's all in their movies, you know, and it's the Starship Enterprise where they're here to make a profit. They don't care about anything else, and it's real sad, ladies and gentlemen. We got people right now freezing the Jewish power companies, the Jewish-owned power companies in Texas and other places are turning off the power. Don't forget who's really doing it. You know, I'll tell you what. Maybe we'll do real quick. I'm gonna do. You know, now I got motivated. You see, Ninja, I just had to
Yay.
talk about them. And yeah, you know, they're working overtime to injure our friends and families. So I think real
Yeah.
quick, I just want to. I had a tag on my reading for this evening, and I just want to, and I had a footnote here, right? And so it said when Yeshua was in the temple, out of the Gospel of Mark, in the beginning here, the third chapter, you know, it said that then the priesthood wanted to see what he would do, whether he would heal on the Shabbat, the Sabbath, and then he did. He healed the stonemason of all people, right? He had a withered arm, the stonemason, and so then they were enraged. They were enraged, you know, and then began to seek how they could heal him. But yet, here in the footnote that Dunday put, he says that in the tractate Yoma, so that's out of the Babylonian Talmud, right? So he's finding things in the Talmud, and he put it in here, and he says the rabbis taught a life must be saved on the Sabbath. A life must be saved on the Sabbath. The faster one goes about it, the more praiseworthy he is. He needs no permission of the court to do it. So you see what the implication of this is then, is that when they're saying that they could be healed on the Sabbath, the insiders, that's the insiders, you see, but the outsiders, no way, you know, no way. So the priesthood, they could get healed on the Shabbat, but the the goyim, the chattel, that they tax to death, they um, they cannot have a healing on the Shabbat. They have to come the next day. You see, so that's basically what it is, ladies and gentlemen. And we'll just do a quick read here in the. Let me get some more light. The book Facts Are Facts, and the facts are that basically the Jews want to kill us and our families and our little ones. They want to take our little ones and sacrifice them, get some adrenochrome, or rape them, one or the other, or both, in the long run. So and this is why throughout history they were kicked out of different nations. They were always being kicked out because they were so evil and wicked. These Khazar Jews. So we're picking it up now on. We're still in the introduction, and so the Germans took appropriate action. This was regarding World War I. Now we're coming out of that story. The Germans took appropriate action against the Jews. They shall I say discriminated against them wherever they could. They shunned them the same way that we would shun the Chinese or the Negroes or Catholics or anyone in this land who had sold us out to an enemy and brought about our defeat. After a while, the Jews of the world called a meeting in Amsterdam. Jews from every country in the world attended this meeting in July 1933, and they said to Germany, "You fire Hitler, and you put every Jew back in his former position, whether he was a communist or no matter what he was. You can't treat us that way. And we, the Jews of the world, are serving an ultimatum upon you." You can imagine. This doesn't sound like victims to me, does it? No, the poor little Jews. They're just little victims. Oh, what they're telling them that they're giving Hitler the orders. Wow, that's rather interesting, isn't it? And we, the Jews of the world, are serving an ultimatum upon you, Hitler. You can't imagine what the Germans told them. So what did the Jews do? In 1933, when Germany refused to surrender to the World Conference of Jews in Amsterdam, to surrender. The Jews are telling Hitler to surrender, right? Go figure. The conference broke up, and Mr. Samuel Untermyer, who was the head of the American delegation and the president of the whole conference, came to the United States and went from the steamer to the studios of the Columbia Broadcasting System, that's CBS, and made a radio broadcast throughout the United States in which he, in effect, said, "The Jews of the world now declare a holy war against Germany." Wow, I never heard about that. Let me get my highlighter. Yeah, there are 4 victims, huh? 4 little victims. This is a highlight. I'm glad we're reading this. I hung onto this book for about a year. I had this in my mouth. Sorry about the cap on my highlighter. We're now engaged in a sacred conflict against the Germans. Remember, it's right hand, left hand. Okay. Remember, Germans means Khazarian Jews, and so they're creating an illusion. Really, it's what it is. It's okay, you agree to be the bad guy today, and tomorrow I'll be the bad guy. Okay, it's just like Saddam Hussein. He was working for the CI, who, right? He was working for them. Letter A at the end, and so they all agree at one point to be the bad guy. Like Hitler, he was an insider. He wasn't operating alone. He's working for the Vatican. The Jews wrote Mein Kampf for him. The Jewish Jesuits wrote Mein Kampf for him, where a book that talks about hating Jews, right? So they painted a picture. We are now engaged in a sacred conflict against the Germans, and we are going to starve them into surrender. Oh, they're going to starve them out. That's a pretty good one. So we are going to use a worldwide boycott against them that will destroy them because they are dependent upon their export business. And it is a fact that 2/3 of Germany's food supply had to be imported, and it could only be imported with the proceeds of what they exported. So if Germany could not export, 2/3 of Germany's population would have to starve. Well, this is a rather interesting scenario because it certainly was playing out. There was just not enough food for more than 1/3 of the population. Now, in this declaration, which I have here, and which was printed in the New York Times on August 7th, 1933, Mr. Samuel Untermeyer boldly stated that this economic boycott is our means of self-defense. President Roosevelt, can you say Illuminati, has advocated its use in the National Recovery Administration, which some of you may remember, where everybody was to be boycotted unless he followed the rules laid down by the New Deal, in which was declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court of that time. Nevertheless, the Jews of the world declared a boycott against Germany, and it was so effective that you couldn't find one thing in any store anywhere in the world with the words "Made in Germany" on it. In fact, the executive of the Woolworth Company told me that they had to dump millions of dollars worth of crockery and dishes into the river, that their stores were boycotted if anyone came in and found a dish marked "Made in Germany." So they dump them in the river, right? Why don't you dump them in the dump? They were picketed with signs saying "Hitler, murderer," and so forth. Something like that sit-ins that are taking place in the South. At a store belonging to R.H. Mackay chain, which was controlled by a family called Strauss, who also happened to be Jews, a woman found stockings there which came from Chemnitz, marked "Made in Germany." Well, they were cotton stockings, and they may have been there 20 years, since I've been observing women's legs for many years, and it's been a long time since I've seen any cotton stockings on them. I saw Macy's boycotted with hundreds of people walking around with signs saying "murderers," "Hitlerites," and so forth. Now, up to that time, not one half of the head of any Jew had been hurt in Germany. There was no suffering, there was no starvation, there was no murder, there was nothing. So you see how the Jews created, I just thought of that word, anti-Semitism, and so they became anti Germany. They were anti-Germans, right? Even though their own people were Germans, right? The bankers and the smaller people, right? The clerks and everything. So this is a staged event. This was to instigate World War II. Remember, it's in the book of Morals and Dogma, Freemasonry, with Albert Pike. They said that there had to be 3 world wars. Well, this was how they were starting number 2. So we went from number 1, now we're in number 2. Naturally, the Germans said, who are the people to declare a boycott against us and throw all our people out of work and make our industries come to a standstill? Who are they that do that to us? They naturally resented it. Certainly, they painted swastikas on stores owned by Jews. Why should a German go in and give his money to a storekeeper who was part of the boycott that was going to starve Germany and to surrendering to the Jews of the world, who were going to dictate who their premier or chancellor was to be? Well, it was ridiculous. The boycott continued for some time, but it wasn't until 1938 when a young Jew from Poland walked into the German embassy in Paris and shot a German official that the Germans really started to get rough with the Jews in Germany. And so you found them there breaking windows and having street fights and so forth. Now, I don't like to use the word anti-Semitism because it's meaningless, but it means something to you still, so I'll have to use it here. The only reason that there was any feeling in Germany against Jews was that they were responsible for World War I and for this worldwide boycott. Ultimately, they were also responsible for the World War II, because after this thing got out of hand, it was absolutely necessary for the Jews in Germany to lock horns in a war to see which one was going to survive. Well, they said they fund both sides of the war, so we can see they're playing both hands in this scenario to start World War II. It's a game, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing is real. In the meanwhile, I had lived in Germany, and I knew that the Germans had decided that Europe is going to be Christian or communist. There is no in between. And the Germans decided that there is an in between because Hitler persecuted the Christians. So what we got was fascism, not communism, not Christianity, fascism. And he closed down the churches that were in opposition. And so I'll tell you what, I did the turn on the page and we'll post it right there. And so that'll be where we'll pick it up tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. And yeah, it's an interesting world of illusions, and it's all a stage, and we get caught up in it, but it's not our world, ladies and gentlemen. We have to be set free, and knowledge is key to that. Okay, so it's a very cold night out there in America, and I can tell just by the few people on here tonight, there's usually more, and many of them lost power as well, and so it's getting tougher as we go along. These are the people we were just reading about them, right? They're the ones that are turning off the electricity. They're the ones that own the nuclear power station, like in South Texas, where I used to make deliveries of caustic for the water treatment facility. All right, and so they're doing it. Okay, so there's no need to feel sorry for them. They're not victims. They are actors, and they're the best at it. They because they controlled vaudeville, then they controlled the radio entertainment, and then ultimately the movies. They are the masters of deception. They are the news outlets. Even we saw they control the news outlets in Germany. So look who's running the show. It's all a stage, and they're behind the curtain. They're the man behind the curtain. And Wizard of Oz was about the yellow brick road, follow the gold wherever it goes. And it goes to the bank, ladies and gentlemen. It goes to the bank. So they were trying to tell us in that movie as well, follow the yellow brick road. So it's a tragic world. It's a world run by people that hate good people. They hate everybody else other than themselves. I'm sure they hate their mother as well. Oh, but we see the tradition in their families. Oh, mama, they love their mama, and but yet they hate the rest of mankind. It's so sad, ladies and gentlemen. But their moment of truth will come when they breathe their last breath, and it will be good riddance. And then they're going to be on their knees and begging, please don't send me out to that cold darkness. I wanted to go to the light. I thought I had the light. And they'll find out, no, you were scum of the earth. You sellout of mankind. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Desert Owl telling you, you just got the forbidden history. It's what they didn't want you to know that we tell right here. Hope you'll tell your friends about the broadcast. Hope you come back. I know lots of people come in after the broadcast and listen to the replay. And but do tell your friends, won't you? We're planning on being back here tomorrow night at again at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Ask Desert Owl on the Forbidden History series. Thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for Ninja and her great production. And I'm Desert Owl signing off. Thank you so much. Good night.
Starry, starry night, paint your palette blue and gray. Look out on a summer's day with eyes that know the darkness in my soul. Shadows on the hills, sketch the trees and the daffodils, catch the breeze and the winter chills in colors on the snowy linen land. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now. Starry, starry night, flaming flowers that brightly blaze, swirling clouds in violet haze, reflect in Vincent's eyes of china blue, colors changing hue. morning fields of amber grain, weathered faces lined in pain are soothed beneath the artist's loving hand. Now I understand what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they did not know how. Perhaps they'll listen now, for they could not love you, but still your love was true. And when no hope was left inside on that starry, starry night, you took your life as lovers often do. But I could have told you, Vincent, this world was never meant for one as beautiful as you. Starry, starry night, portraits hung in empty halls, frameless heads on nameless walls, with eyes that watch the world and can't forget, like the strangers that you've met, the ragged men in ragged clothes, a silver thorn, a bloody rose, lie crushed and broken on the virgin snow. Now I think I know what you tried to say to me, and how you suffered for your sanity, and how you tried to set them free. They would not listen, they're not listening still. Perhaps they never